Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Lazarus Expedition. Before we hop into character creation, let me tell you a little bit about it. Our players all come from the Stormtide Kingdom, which for the past 25 years has been ruled by good King Arnold. He's a high cleric of Velmontarius, the god of justice, and he has reformed the kingdom. He's brought peace and prosperity. He's started holy crusades against evil dragons and warlords and necromancers, and for 45 years he's made the world a better place, till he was laid low by a terrible and nefarious assassin. His greatest warrior, Lady Lazarus, a paladin of Verasi, the goddess of death and destruction, set out on a holy quest with her best warriors to find a scroll of resurrection to bring back good King Arnold so that he may again rule the world, or rule the Stormtide Kingdom. As our players and our heroes traveled across the seas in searching for this scroll, they finally found it after many months on the high seas and traveling on islands and fighting monsters and undergoing all sorts of adventures. And then they spotted Arcadia, the land where this scroll is rumored to be. Upon sighting the landmass, a storm hit their ship and it sank and everyone died. Our players are the survivors of the shipwreck, and they're like squires and cabin boys, and like the priest who's on the ship just to like take care of things around the ship, but like wasn't part of the main expedition. You know, the sort of the plebs of the expedition who have washed up on shore, and that's who you see here before us today. So while everyone is looking, since two of you are done with all of your skills, why don't you tell us a little bit about your character, PotatoMcWhiskey? What is your background? What's your character's past?
Right. So I tried to make a interesting noble character. He is the third son of a newly minted noble family that was gifted land that was previously held by the ogres after the Good King's crusade against the Oathbreaker ogres. Because he's a third son, he grew up in the shadow of his older brothers, especially, and his mother didn't have a whole lot of time for him, so his older sister, Yen, looked after him until she was married off to another family when he was kind of becoming a man. He was kind of in that transition phase, and he felt a bit of an injustice that his sister was taken away from him, so he kind of is a little chip on his shoulder about that.
Well, Mr. Moon, you've also done all of your stats, so
right.
Tell me about your character.
Character's name is Cassian Rin. He is the first son of the Rin family. He was noble born. He has a strong calling to king and country. So much so that his dad pulled a few strings and was able to get him an apprenticeship, a knightship, a squireship under the best knight in all the land named Batu Khan. He does not lie, which is one thing that I think that he shares with Potato's character. If he makes a pledge, he's going to be faithful to it. He smokes a pipe. Always has his pipe, and he's been looking for the long lost rare, what's it called, magical item that is a pipe that basically you can smoke out of, and you can make monsters appear. Not actual monsters, just smoke monsters. They don't do anything. It just, if you blow out of the pipe, a dragon will come out. It looks cool. So yeah, I'm trying to make a very good human fighter who comes from a lot and is going to give back to those who need it and protect those who need protected.
Excellent. PotatoMcWhiskey, did you have a name for your character yet?
Oh, sorry. His name is Vashir Talat.
Let's hear from PokemonChallenges about his character's background.
So, Roy Waystar is a young child. Well, he's no longer a child, but he's a child of a noble family. And he grew up extremely spoiled and, extremely well-kept, silver spoon in his mouth and everything. And this is his first real outing in the real world. And the reason that he's out here is because Roy has always had a fascination with this land and the adventure and expeditions and exploring. But the problem is Roy never really bothered to really look up the true history of anything going on here or speak to anyone from this land. He just knows it from legend and folklore, and he's fascinated with those legends and those stories and can't wait to see all the things that those legends and stories will bring to him here. And I guess we'll see how accurate those tales were that were told to him. So in terms of build, does anyone remember the Disney Channel show Recess?
Yeah.
Does anyone remember the character Mikey from that show?
Oh, Mikey?
We're pretty tall, but we're also kind of fat. We've got messy blonde hair. We're young, but our hairline isn't great. And our facial hair growth is also, not coming in too great.
Greenzerg, do you have a character name yet?
Yeah, I do. Well, my character has his given name, and then he has his name that was given to him in his baptism when he became a cleric. So,
what would you like on the overlay?
Yes, you can do his cleric name, which is Sturmir, and he has no last name as he is not a noble.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about your character's background, Sturmir?
Yeah, so Sturmir was left as a baby on the steps of a local temple, presumably by his mother, but he will never know. Neither will anyone in his life ever be able to tell him that. Raised in the church, just basically doing menial tasks there, sort of cleaning, mending things, maybe if he was lucky after a few years, fixing a book perhaps. When he gets a bit older, he leaves the church, joins the army. Something happens to him. I don't want to really go into it now because I don't think it's something that he would really talk about a lot. Probably because he just doesn't think people would believe him. But some great event happens in his life. And after this event, he decides to commit himself to the service of the gods. So yeah, he's older than the rest of the party, I think. Probably in his early 50s. Looks old, has sort of longish grey hair, a beard, maybe is quite like a bit of a father figure to men that he works with on ships and things like that.
Well then, I do believe that is pretty much it for our character creation stream. We will be back next week.
We're going to go live after this on the Patreon for a little Patreon 30-minute after the episode kind of show. We're going to be going over patron questions, maybe talking about our characters a little bit more and stuff like that. That is Patreon only, so the Patreon's above. It's going to be patreon.com/saveordie at the Goblin tier. This is going to be a weekly thing at the end of the episode. We go live for 30 minutes on the Patreon to, give our supporters something else.
Cool. That's it, everybody. Catch you next week.
See you then.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.